11 Tips on Building Self-Esteem in Children. Simply praising your child can actually do more harm than good. Here's a comprehensive guide on how to build self-confidence in a child. Last week, my son Aaron made the school soccer team. Boy, was I proud. And I couldn't stop saying so. Good job, buddy. You're the best. I beamed, he beamed, and all seemed right with the world. It's not the first time my kids have heard me shout their praises. I'm the resident cheering section, their biggest fan, a back-patter extraordinaire. These days, you can find me handing out compliments as if they're sticks of gum. When my kids practice guitar, score a goal, help with dishes. The mom logic goes like this: the kid is good, or good enough for me, so I make him feel great about himself. It's called boosting self-esteem. Or so I thought. Here are some things you may not have considered about building self-esteem in children. 1. Step back. As it turns out, there are better ways to build self-esteem than heaping on praise for everything kids do, starting with helping them become competent in the world, says Jim Taylor, author of the book Your Kids Are Listening: 9 Messages They Need to Hear From You. To do so, though, you have to learn to step back and let your child take risks, make choices, solve problems, and stick with what they start. 2. Overpraising kids does more harm than good. Self-esteem comes from feeling loved and secure, and from developing competence, Taylor says, and although parents often shower their kids with the first 2 ingredients, competence, becoming good at things, takes time and effort. As much as we may want to, we can't praise our kids into competence, he says. In fact, by overpraising kids, we're doing more harm than good. Or lowering the bar for them, Taylor says. If you keep telling your child she is already doing a fantastic job, you're saying she no longer needs to push herself. But confidence comes from doing, from trying and failing and trying again, from practice. Samantha McLeod, who has 4 boys, ages 1 to 9, believes constant complimenting can actually erode self-esteem. Either kids start thinking they're perfect or they try to be perfect all the time, an impossible standard. And inaccurate praise confuses them, she says. If my son can't spell and I tell him he's doing terrific, he learns not to trust his own instincts. He also learns that praise is just flat-out lying. Plus, Taylor adds, telling your child he's the best, the smartest, or the most talented is setting him up for some very bad news down the road. You're creating an egomaniac who thinks his scribbles are Rothko's, but sooner or later, he'll discover he's not all that after all. Sophic remembers staring from across the room as her 2-year-old son, Fraser, lifted a huge jug of orange pop at a fancy party. He was about to pour it into a glass, and I just stood there, holding my breath, Sophic recalls. Rather than trying to save her son before he had a chance to try, Sophic watched as Fraser spilled the pop all over the floor. Then came the best part. Fraser found a waitress, asked for a paper towel, and cleaned up his own mess. He solved his own problem, just like we do as successful adults, Sophic says. 4. Let kids make their own choices. When kids make their own age-appropriate choices, they feel more powerful, says Sophic, pointing out that kids as young as 2 can start considering the consequences of their decisions. Sophic always let her kids decide on their own whether to wear a coat, hat, and mittens in winter. Once they knew the difference between warm and cold, it was up to them. They should have control over their bodies and take responsibility for their choices, she says. 5. Let them help around the house. In building self-esteem, kids also need opportunities to demonstrate their competence and feel that their contribution is valuable, says Taylor. At home, that means asking them, even when they're toddlers, to help with cooking, setting the table, and making beds. 6. Encourage them to pursue their interests fully. Another surefire way to boost confidence in kids is to encourage them to take on tasks they show interest in, then make sure they follow through to completion. It doesn't matter what the task, it could be anything from swimming laps to beating levels in video games. The point is for them to stick with what they start, so they feel that hit of accomplishment at the end. 7. What to do when children struggle or fail. What if your child's self-esteem plummets when she gets cut from the gymnastics team or can't memorize multiplication tables? 8. Don't lose sleep over it. So many parents have it backward, Taylor says. They think struggles and failure will hurt their kids' self-esteem, but it's actually a golden opportunity to help build it. 9. Make clear that your love is unconditional. Let your child know you love her even when she fails or makes bad decisions. If all you talk about is performance, Sophic points out, she will think you only love her for her report card or the lead she got in the play. 10. Make sure your child's goals are within reach, at a level appropriate for his ability. That may mean suggesting he join House League, where he can feel like a star rather than being the last one picked on the AA team. McLeod learned this lesson when her son, Alex, was in grade 2. Feeling like a failure at reading, Alex was ready to give up when McLeod brought home some Magic Tree House books, which were slightly below Alex's level. He read one every 2 days and was so proud of himself that he went on to read the Goosebumps series, no problem, she recalls. Afterward, mother and son talked about how Alex's choice to practice paid off, and she praised his perseverance. 11. Offer appropriate praise. Although praise is often misused, when it's specific and earned, it is a valuable self-esteem builder, Taylor says. Lorna Cross, a former music teacher, remembers asking her choir students to keep a brag file full of praise they earned. Any time they saw their names in a program or newspaper article or received a complimentary note, they were to put it inside. When the kids had a bad day, they would take out those words of praise and read all the neat things they had done, and it would make them feel better about themselves. The brag file works because it shows kids specific ways they're special and teaches them that practice reaps rewards, Taylor says. And it's the practice, the effort, that should be the focus of praise, Sophic says. Don't just say, great play. Tell him it was awesome how he passed the ball to his teammate. And keep in mind that a little indirect praise, such as stars on a chore chart, can work wonders. Mom Nancy Botello gets even more inventive. She makes sure her kids overhear a little boasting. I'll tell my friends how the teacher said Margaret is so kind, or how I saw Bridget working so hard at tying her shoes. The kids just shine. Since they were spying, they know I mean it and I'm not just trying to make them feel good. Your self-esteem checklist. Here are some of the things that the Canadian Mental Health Association says you can do to help raise confident, not coddled, kids. Feel special. It's important for you to help your children discover their own unique talents and qualities, and to value their own strengths. But also teach them that feeling special doesn't mean feeling better than others. Set goals. Teach your kids to work towards a goal and to have pride in their accomplishments. Provide them with opportunities for success. Try again. Encourage your children to try things their own way, face challenges and take risks. As a parent, you want your kids to feel happy about themselves and have good self-esteem, also called a self-image. Your words and actions affect it more than anything else, starting from when they're babies. Your child absorbs your tone of voice, body language, and every expression. Self-esteem can come easier to some kids than others. If your child's self-esteem is low, here are 9 ways you can help boost it. 1. Help your child learn to do things. For a baby, learning to hold a cup or take first steps sparks a sense of understanding and delight. As a child grows, things like learning to dress, read, or ride a bike are chances for self-esteem to grow. Teach by showing and helping at first. Then let kids do what they can, even if they make mistakes. This is a key part of developing positive self-esteem. Be sure your kids get a chance to learn, try, and feel proud. Don't make new challenges too easy or too hard. Encourage them to always do their best but explain that they don't have to be perfect. No one is. 2. Praise efforts. Avoid praising only results like getting an A, or qualities like being smart or athletic. Instead, congratulate kids on effort, progress, and attitude. For example, you're working hard on that project, you're getting better at these spelling tests, or, I'm proud of you for practicing piano, you've really stuck with it. With this kind of praise, kids put effort into things, work toward goals, and try. This makes them more likely to succeed. 3. Be honest. Praise that doesn't feel earned doesn't ring true. For example, telling kids they played a great game when they know they didn't can feel hollow and fake. Instead, you can say, even though that wasn't your best game, I'm proud of you for not giving up. Add a vote of confidence. Tomorrow, you'll do well. 4. Be a good role model. When you put effort into everyday tasks like making a meal or washing the dishes, you set a good example. Your child learns to put effort into doing homework, cleaning up toys, or making the bed. Modeling the right attitude counts too. When you do tasks without grumbling or complaining, you teach your child to do the same. When you avoid rushing through chores and take pride in a job well done, your child also learns to do that. 5. Avoid being critical. The messages kids hear about themselves from others often affect how they feel about themselves. Harsh words or negative statements like calling a child lazy don't motivate kids and can hurt their self-esteem. Correct kids with patience. Focus on what you want them to do next time. When needed, show them how. 6. Focus on strengths. Pay attention to what your kids do well and enjoy. Make sure they have chances to develop these things. Focus more on strengths than weaknesses to help them feel good about themselves. This improves behavior too. 7. Notice what goes well. It can be easy for kids to focus on what went wrong, like not doing well on a test. Unless they balance it with the good, they'll just feel bad. When you hear your kids complain about themselves or their day, have them find something that went well instead. And try this. Each night before bed, have your child say at least 3 good things that happened that day. Soon kids will start to notice more positive things about the people in their life and themselves. 8. Encourage healthy friendships. Teach kids that the best friends are those who treat them well, and lift them up by what they say and do. Kids should avoid people who act in ways that tear others down. Instead, they should choose friends they can be themselves with and who help them feel okay about who they are. Help them be that type of friend for others. 9. Let kids help and give. Self-esteem grows when kids see that what they do matters to others. Kids can help at home, do a service project at school, or do a favor for a sibling. Helping other people and doing kind acts builds self-esteem and other good feelings. By helping boost your child's self-esteem, they'll have the courage to try new things and make smart choices. Thank you for accompanying us. We will be happy if you like and share our video and subscribe our channel.